Moses.
Oh, hello Malachi. Hi friends. Sorry if I seem a little upset today. I truly can't understand why so many of my people keep complaining. Why don't they trust God? Don't they remember the incredible things He's done for us since we left Egypt? The Red Sea, manna and quail, winning a big battle, and the most important thing of all, oh wait, I forgot you weren't there. You don't even know how we escaped from Egypt. We'll tell you what happened. My people had been captives in Egypt for more than 400 years, and those last years were no picnic. Pharaoh was awful to us. He worked us so hard and beat us. It was horrible. God told me to ask Pharaoh to let us go so we could worship God the right way. But that made Pharaoh even more mad and mean. Finally, God said that He would rescue us. First, He sent 9 plagues to Egypt. Really bad things like locusts and frogs and water turning into blood. Gross. But they only happened to the Egyptians, not to us. But even then, Pharaoh wouldn't let us go. And then, God sent one last plague. This plague was really serious. God warned that if Pharaoh wouldn't let us go, all the firstborn sons in Egypt would die, from Pharaoh's son to the lowest Israelite son. But God said that none of our children would be harmed. God said that they would be crying all over Egypt as the Egyptians realized their children were dead. But in our houses it would be quiet. The angel of death would pass right over our houses. You know, as Israelites, we worship God by sacrificing animals to Him. God told me to have each Israelite family kill a perfect lamb and roast the meat. God said to paint the blood of the lamb on our doors to show that we were God's people. The angel of death would pass over the houses with blood painted on the doors and would spare the children inside. Malachi, how did you feel when we heard what the angel of death was going to do?
I was scared, but I was relieved that we were safe in our houses.
And what were you thinking as we painted blood on our doors?
Man, I was thinking about all the people I know who are firstborn sons. And I was praying so hard to God to keep us safe.
I'll tell you, we were praying for our families as we painted blood on our door frames. God said that after the angel of death came over Egypt, we would need to be ready to leave in a hurry. We wouldn't have time to pack all our things. There wouldn't even be time to cook a regular meal. He is said to eat unleavened bread, which is bread that didn't have time to rise. Have any of you made some rolls in the Israelite camp this week? Then you would know how bread gets squishy when it rises, but we didn't have time for that. Here, would you like to have some unleavened bread?
Sure.
That night felt like the longest one in history. It seemed to last forever. Why don't you close your eyes as I tell the rest of the story? You too. We waited and waited in silence for the angel of death to come over Egypt. Then, right at midnight, we heard what sounded like a wind pass over our houses. Then, in the distance, we heard a father cry out and a mother scream. Soon, it seemed like all of Egypt was filled with crying and screaming. But in our houses, the Israelite houses, not even a dog barked. It was just as God had promised. The angel of death had passed over our houses. All of a sudden, an order came from Pharaoh for us to leave Egypt right away. God rescued us from captivity and let us out of Egypt that very night. In fact, that's when we headed to the Red Sea. Remember that? What an incredible rescue! God saved us that night. A night we call Passover because the angel of death passed over our houses. Today, we talked about the blood of a perfect lamb. As you go through the rest of Wilderness Escape, be listening for more about a perfect lamb. I have a feeling you might hear more.